Hey, what's up YouTube? Kenny Quest here. Today's vlog is all about the FXLRS-T and how you can't get one. So join me on today's vlog and we'll get into it. Be right back. Alright, welcome back. So last week's episode was about the launch of the 2022 FXLRS and FXLRS-T. And we learned that there's some cool products coming out, and those are probably the two coolest motorcycles that appeal to me. And so this past week I spent some time figuring out how I can get my hands on an FXLRS-T, and it comes to find out I can't. They don't exist. There's zero for sale. The only ones that are out are these test demo bikes, these press bikes making their rounds. Now I don't know if the cruise control module is the problem, because there's a integrated circuit chip shortage plaguing the world right now, and they're on a multi-week back order on the Harley Davidson website, and word is that they have a batch coming in enough to fill 300 orders of the FXLRS-T, and they're going to have 300 of these available come April. And pardon me as I take some twisties. They say there's no twisties in Florida. I found some, and I'm having a blast on my 2021 Iron 883. And that's what started this. It's like I've had this almost a year. It'll be a year and a couple weeks, and I have 1 year to trade this in so I can get full equity value at my dealer under their dealer promise. And the bike I'm most interested in isn't available. It doesn't exist. You can't buy one. So I went in to talk to my dealer about it, and of course they have the FXLRS in stock. They got two of them in black, vivid black, and they look awesome. And as I covered in my last week video, I want the fairings, I want the fairing, I want the Sport Glide bags, I want sporty and to be able to travel. I want cruise control if I'm going to get a bike to replace the Sportster Iron 883. And my dealer would not accept a deposit. They said, we're going to sell them first come, first serve when they come off the truck. We're not going to accept deposits. So without a deposit, pretty much you have to camp out like it's a Black Friday sale. And when they come off the truck, jump on one and say, it's mine, here's my money. So I thought that was odd. They were really keen on selling me the Lowrider S. They said they'd give me a smoking deal on one. Give you a really good deal on one. I'm like, okay, well, that's relative to the deal offered, so I didn't get that far. I'm like, no, you know, I appreciate you letting me sit on it and film a little bit for my channel. Love the twisties. Starting to practice my technical riding on my Sportster as I get more advanced in my skills. You know, I bought this bike brand new. It's my first bike, so I was curious if all dealers were doing the same deal. So I went on Instagram. Harley Davidson posted some information and, you know, advertising the FXLRS-T, and so I made a comment about, you know, availability. And the comments that came in were like, yeah, they're selling them for $5,000 more than MSRP here in California. And then we had salespeople chime in, hey, I'm in Michigan, I'll take your deposit. Like, I don't want to order a bike from out of state, deal with that. And then a couple motovlogger, other channels out there contacted me and said, hey, you know, I got a great dealer in my town, and, you know, they'll hook you up. And I spoke to the dealer and the salespeople. Of course, salespeople can't do a thing. All they can do is hold your hand and talk to you. But when it comes time to do the deal, you're talking to the management team. So when talking with the management teams at all these dealers, they all say the same thing. We're getting one bike. There's about 300 dealers, Harley dealers in the United States. We're getting one bike each. I can take your deposit, but doesn't guarantee you're going to get one unless the person in front of you flakes out. And I said, all right, well, how many deep are you? And the ones that I spoke to, they're all 3 and 4 deep. So you have to hope, you give them your $3,000 to $5,000. You don't know what kind of deal you're going to get because they don't want to negotiate the final number until they have a VIN. And of course, they don't have a VIN yet. So it's a wing and a prayer. So I wanted to get some more information, and I wanted to be able to do business within my state, not out of state. So I called over to Bert's Barracuda and asked for Mr. Supreme T, Mr. T Jr. I learned about him from Shade Tree Surgeon's channel, so I'm like, okay, he's a, you know, YouTube, Instagram personality. Let me give him a call and see what he's got to say. So I recorded some of that conversation, and this is what he had to say. Mr. T.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Thanks for calling back.
No problem, man. All right, the ST, talk to me.
So my understanding is, from feedback from some of my viewers on my YouTube channel from all over the country, is that the dealers are getting 1 or 2 assigned to them, and then once those are...
One.
Okay, and then once those are all gone, then the next batch won't be available till October.
I don't know about the October deal.
Because they're building to order.
Yeah, the only thing I know of for sure is the first ones are going to be available in April. Damn, October seems like a very long stint to have to wait for that bike.
Well, what I was told, someone said October, but they said 3 to 4 months after the initial, they'll have another batch.
Yeah, that sounds very, very far out. So
Okay.
I would definitely play off the first one. So far right now, I do have a deposit on the first one. I'm looking at the board. Yeah, so one guy wants a black one, that guy wants a black one, the other guy wants a black one. So that's 3 so far that are interested with deposits on them.
So walk me through that process. You're taking deposits. It sounds like you got 3 deposits right now, right?
Yeah, I'm looking, but judging by the board, it looks like there's 3 deposits on one. Because everybody's getting the same story everywhere. You know, if somebody's looking here, they're definitely looking everywhere else for it. We were kind enough to take deposits on the bike, and I already took the first one for the very first one. And unless they got backed out or something, you know, then it's fair game to the next person just goes down the totem pole.
So the reason I contacted you was because I wanted to find out what Bert's policy was, and to see if you guys are taking the money. And it sounds like you are taking deposits, but you're going to be in a line of people. So I would go in right now at number 4, and if the other 3 people flaked out, then I would get the shot.
Correct.
And then if it doesn't work out, then I have to wait for your 2nd, 3rd, or 4th bike to show up whenever that is. And my understanding is that there potentially could be a delay of a couple months before you get to the next bikes.
Right, that's the only part. I cannot confirm that second part because I haven't been told any other information besides about the first ones coming in April.
Okay.
That's as far as my knowledge goes from the motor company. Now, the motor company could be saying something to the other sales managers and the GM and finding out other things, but as far as right now, what I read was the first one shipped in April.
Okay.
And everybody's only promised one.
Right.
And they're only shipping 300 throughout the country, and there's 300 Harley dealers in the country. So that's one per dealer, is from my understanding.
And that's no international exports either, just all domestic.
Nope, all America, baby.
Yes, sir.
I have the Lowrider S, the new Lowrider S in here with the 117.
Right, everybody does.
And
2, 3, 4 of them.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can tell as well, my man.
All right, now I know that you'll take my money. I just have to decide whether I want to get in line or wait it out.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, brother, if you don't get in line, I think you may end up waiting even longer, you know what I mean? But it's not something that you're going to have tomorrow anyway. You already know that you're in the position of if those 3 people are going to take it or not. Have any other dealers decided, like, not taking deposits on it? I don't know, because it's been hot. Like, people walk in, and here's the thing. If I have 3 deposits on it, that's just 3 people who have been willing to commit a non-refundable deposit to the guy, to the bike. Like, think about all the people who have the money for the bike, and have walked into the store. There have been millions. I've already talked to 1,000 people this week, man, just want to walk in. Oh, where's that new Lowrider ST? And I go, man, that thing hasn't been released yet. But it's on the commercials. It's not on the commercials. We're talking about it. It's on YouTube. But,
right.
Yeah.
Those are the new commercials now. If it's on YouTube, it's got to be there. It's got to exist.
Correct. Exactly. That is that. If it's on the internet, it must be there. Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, and hope to be able to meet you in person next time over in the St. Pete area.
Yeah, man. We can collab and talk some walk arounds on the other ST models available. All right, brother.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Mr. T. Jr.
You're the man, Kenny. Thanks, brother.
Bye-bye. So as you can see, he pretty much collaborated with what everybody else was saying. They're not available till April. You can give a deposit, doesn't guarantee you one. Now, what's interesting in this conversation, he goes, yeah, it's a non-refundable deposit. Well, in the state of Florida, there's no such thing. You can say that, but when it comes down to consumer protection laws in Florida, your deposit's refundable unless you've taken receipt of the goods. And all contracts are voidable within 3 days. And there's no contract when you get a deposit. The contract goes in once they have the VIN. And then if I get the bike, I pay all my money. If I don't like it, they got to give me the money back within 3 days if I bring the bike back. That's just Florida's consumer protection laws. So then I did a follow-up text with Mr. T, because we didn't talk about, you know, price and things like that. So I sent him a text asking how much over MSRP they're going to charge. And he responded back, you know, that's up to the general management, but to be honest with you, no one's talked about price yet. They just give me their money. All right, well, I mean, if you're a baller, good on you, man. Good for you. But, you know, 3-4 grand, that's a stage one and some. So I'm not all about just blindly throwing the money out there. Here are the facts. In 3 years, you can buy those bikes, maybe 2 years, maybe even a year. You can buy that bike from a used motorcycle specialist. And in my area, we got a couple of them, probably 3 or 4 that I can go visit. And they specialize in late model Harleys, and they don't charge these excessive fees, and they buy bikes with decent miles, you know, 1,000, 2,000. Some even have like 60 miles on them. It's like crazy. Where do you get these bikes? And you know, some people buy bikes and they think it's a good idea, and then, you know, they have the money, and then they get on the bike a couple times and like, nah, this is not for me. So in the same Instagram thread, it was reported by one of the salespeople that the first 300 will come in April, and those who have put deposits and are first in line will get their bike, and then there's going to be another batch in the fall. Now, Mr. T Supreme did not agree with there being another batch in the fall. You wouldn't have to wait that long. Who knows? It depends on the microchip shortage. So that leaves me waiting until the fall, potentially, for my FXLRS-T. That's a lot of time between February and September, October, in that time frame. So I got to ask, what would you do? Would you throw your money out there just hoping that maybe somebody flakes in front of you? Would you just hold off? Now keep in mind that you bought a $12,000 Sportster and they're going to give you all $12,000 towards it, your next bike. So would you get the T model? Would you wait? Or would you just get the regular Lowrider S and retrofit the same fairing and the Sport Glide bags to it when those become available in the parts and accessory catalog, or just through the parts department? They may not show up in the catalog. And you're like, what are you talking about, Kenny? You can't do that. Well, this is what I learned. That Harley Davidson is required to manufacture each and every part of a motorcycle for 10 years after that bike has been released for insurance purposes. So if a bike gets in a wreck, the insurance company or private individual, if they're funding it, they don't have insurance. In Florida, you're not required to carry insurance on your motorcycle. I digress. So I was told by a general manager, you know, just retrofit the frame-mounted fairing onto it through the parts department, add the Sport Glide bags, and you'll have gauge that you're more interested in, which I am more interested in the gauge that comes with the FXLRS versus the Street Bob Softail standard gauge. You know, who knows what the fairing's going to cost? $3,000, $4,000. Everyone knows that, you know, if you were to rebuild a bike, they'd buy it part by part, it would cost 3-4 times the amount that they're selling it for. So anyways, do I do that? Benefits now, FXLRS, and then pay $3,000 to $5,000 for fairing and bags later. Now, that would solve the problem where I could buy the FXLRS closer to MSRP or at MSRP, and my net might be the same as if I wait for the T model and pay the $3,000 to $5,000 extra markup that these dealers are charging to consumers, taking advantage of the situation. The stealerships taking advantage of everyone because there's demand. But who knows? Or option 3, get a Sport Glide. The rake on a Sport Glide compared to a Lowrider S, a little more conducive for performance touring. Take a Sport Glide, buy one, 2018, 19, 20, 21, whatever. Add the 119 kit. And bam! You got more than a 117. You got the Sport Glide bags, and then you throw on your Wedge brand fairing, your Russ Warren mount fairing, your Memphis Shades Road Warrior fairing, whatever. And then if you want to go the extra mile, you can blank off the Speedo on the dash and move it up using a Kraus kit or whatever. And so you can pick up some used Sport Glides for $15,000, $16,000. You can stick with the Batwing fairing, just buy the extra windshield, height windshield that you need for a few $100 and be done. You got cruise control built into the Sport Glide. You can add the 119 kit for a couple $1,000, $2,500, $2,600 of labor, be done with it. So you're looking at a savings potentially against the T model, because with the T model, with the added costs, the dealer markups, the freight, the surcharge, you're at 30 grand, folks. Do all these different things to the Sport Glide at the cost, and you're still under the FXLRS-T. You just don't get the dual discs up front. But put on a radial Brembo in the front, just like I did recently with my Evo Softail project. Link to that project right here on the card, where I bought a 1996 Evo Softail because I want that Evo sound that you just can't get with the Milwaukee 8 or a twin cam. So you tell me what you're thinking. What would you do in the same situation? Are you upset like I am that there's only 300 made and you gotta pay $3,000, $4,000, and some reporting in California $5,000 over just to have the privilege of running a FXLRS-T? Or are you more concerned and upset about the fact that, you know, you got to wait until April and you were one of the lucky ones that got your name in first? Or the fact that you can give your money today and there's no guarantee you're going to get one in April. You got to wait until the fall or next year. And if they're only making just-in-time production each year, which one dealer said that they get surveys all the time, and it appears that they're producing less motorcycles than ever from the motor company. And it's all about production based on anticipated sales, feedback from the dealer, and then reconciled against real data later in the year. It's all about analytics. Considering that a good third of the profits from Harley Davidson come from their financing division, and then a good third or more come from their apparel, and that's before we start talking about parts and accessories and the actual motorcycles themselves. They're printing money. Their gross margin is up in the last couple of years, and you can thank Yokin for that, which I do. I respect that part of it as a shareholder, and I am a shareholder. I want my shares to go up, but at the same time, I'm a consumer and I don't want to get taken advantage of. I want a fair transaction. So put down in the comments, what would you do? Wait, give your deposit, not give your deposit, and just wait until they're more readily available. Get the FXLRS and retrofit the parts on and make it the way I want it. Personalize your bike like you would do with any Harley, or go the Sport Glide route. Now keep in mind, I have to make a decision the next couple weeks if I want to get fair equity, my full equity value out of this 883. And that's only going to happen if I get the FXLRS. My dealer will not give me full equity value towards a used bike, so I'd have to buy a new bike, and it's got to be an FXLRS or a Street Bob or a Softail Standard or a Fat Bob. Those are my interests in the Softail line, or Electric Guide Standard in the touring line, or a Road King Special. Those are, you know, the bikes that I'm interested in. Anything else is too out of my price range, or I'm not interested in it. I had that Evo Softail, so Heritage, I don't need that. That'd be just get another one of those. Doesn't make sense. And my needs are, you know, regional travel, around town, a little bit of performance like I have with my Sporty here. But if I didn't trade in my Sporty and I still kept it, I have no problems with that because I'm having fun. 1,300 miles in on my Sporty, I'm having more fun than ever with it because I know how to ride it now. Not 100% there, but I'm much more advanced than I was 500 miles ago, obviously. And I'm enjoying it, so maybe that's my answer right there. Just keep it. Don't put my hat in this marketplace right now. It's too volatile. It's too uncertain, and I'm not a baller. Don't pretend to be a baller. I'm just a middle-class Joe that apparently is enjoying these twisties here. The sport bike guys are like, dude, he's taking a corner at 40. That's nothing. So, you know, the Sportster has my attention right now, and I'm enjoying it. So let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you tuning in. Got a bunch of new subscribers after last week's video. My name's Kenny Quest. I'm a new rider. This channel is all about my journey with motorcycles, and we cover a lot of Harley content because that's what I ride, but I do venture out and find out what's on the other side, what's on the dark side with other brands of motorcycles and different types and styles of motorcycles, because I am curious about everything when it comes to motorcycles. And right now I got Harleys, but who knows, down the road I might end up with a Ducati sport bike, Suzuki, who knows. So stick around. We got builds. We got the Softail, Evo Softail build that we're doing right now. We still got to do the stage 1 on this 40. I just added the bunking bar, which I haven't even introduced to the channel. It just happened recently. Ramming speed. Oh yeah. You know, I mean, when I turn this throttle, this 40 goes. Bam. I'm ahead of traffic in town. This is plenty. You don't need a super sport bike with 150 horsepower to have fun in town. Those are track day bikes. Anyways, I'm getting all over the place. Thanks for tuning in. If you ride, keep that shiny side up. And if you don't ride, what are you waiting for? Get that motorcycle. We'll see you next time.
Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications. Bye for now.